What's up, everybody? Sean from Rest to Live here. And today we want to talk about Meta, Facebook, the MetaVerse, but maybe not the way you're used to talking about it. So we're going to waste no time and jump right in. I'm in no way, shape, or form saying you should or shouldn't buy stock in Meta, but I want to at least provide some thoughts I had in this space and how technology is kind of changing it a little bit. So I'm not going to waste any time as usual. I'm going to jump right in. So in thinking about the opportunity at Meta or Facebook, whatever you know it as, right? I really started thinking about the software business and how deep we go from an analytics perspective, not just machine learning, not deep learning, but like truly embedded intelligence that's derivative based off of usage rates, the ability to track and understand how customers leverage what you're selling, how they leverage your products, their login rates, their daily active users, all these kinds of things, right? That's something that social media has had a tough time with. Not that they don't have the data, but it's the data about the data. In the world of partner selling, this is a big problem. It exists across the board. I deal with this in my day-to-day job all the time. In speaking to executives all over North America, this is always a challenge, is how do we see our customers' customers? And then build derivative value based on that to charge our customers. And it clicked. I think Meta might have actually found a way around this. And I don't know if they're aware of it, but I think that this, for me as an investor, is something I'm starting to look into and I want to understand more. Now, I know what you're thinking. You need a haircut, and that's true, I do. But even more so is, come on, Facebook's dead. Now it's Meta. They're going to move on to the next thing. You're totally missing the boat. I don't think that's true. I think what we have to understand is Facebook has built a gigantic business off the back of ads, okay? Now, we can argue whether or not we believe that they work or don't work, but I think the reality is a lot of people advertise on Facebook and across their other platforms as well, to be clear, Instagram, etc. And they wouldn't be doing that if it didn't work. I think that let's just brass tacks that whether you like it or not, it does in fact work to some degree, or people wouldn't keep coming back and keep doing it over and over again, okay? That's number one. That's the first peel of the onion. The next piece is this whole idea of the metaverse. Metaverse is, AR, VR, the ability to enter a different world where you have your own persona. Maybe it's a little talking head, maybe it's a dog. I don't know, right? I'm not an expert in the metaverse. But what's really interesting is now, upon entering the metaverse, what you're doing is you're allowing deep access to see the things that you're interacting with, where you're actually engaging. I want you to really dig in here. We have technology now, I see it on a regular basis, where we have vision tracking, attention tracking. It's not hard to do this, by the way. If you're not familiar with this, I'm assuring you it is already happening. Whereas I'm even looking at my screen now, I can set up a system to track my line of sight and what's interesting to me in my screen, right? Maybe it's this wonderful artwork over my shoulder. And now, because you know that I'm looking at it, maybe if I look at it for a certain amount of time, that matches up against previous users who have looked at it for that amount of time who bought it. So maybe you want to surface an ad to me. Well, that's cool. But the reason why this is even more interesting for Facebook is because before, for Meta, I should say, before the company that sells that artwork, AKA my youngest daughter, they can now take that and Facebook can figure out what its value is, right? They can run the algorithms to figure out how much they should be charging for advertising, the value of me as a buyer, what other people might want to advertise to me based on the bucketing and clustering that they do around my type of my habits, my trends of what I'm doing, okay? This is not complicated stuff, just to be clear. It sounds complicated if you don't do this on a regular basis, but it is not complicated. The reason why the metaverse presents an entirely new, highly profitable way to do this is so brilliant in its design. I almost can't believe I haven't thought of this before. I want you to think about this. You're wearing your Oculus, you've got the goggles on, you're in your own metaverse, right? Where maybe you have your house, you've got the things you buy for the metaverse and the things that never leave the metaverse, right? We know we're starting to bring more and more data in. We know you can make purchases within the metaverse. You're purchasing skins or items for your metaverse house, right? Whatever the case is. And you can think that this is as ridiculous as you want, but I'm telling you, I think you're wrong. So I want to give you a quick parallel before I explain the depth of value that I believe is sitting there. And again, I'm not even talking about whether it's good from a stock price perspective or not, but more just an understanding of, oh, weird, I might have just had a little camera issue there. Sorry. So before I jump into the derivative value of sort of that ability to go deep and break into it, what I want to call it first and foremost is take a look at like Roblox, okay? Where people are spending real money to transfer it to get Robux to spend in Roblox on things like skins or upgrades in the game. This is like tier one. These are digital products that enhance your enjoyment of the game you're playing. Very simple to think about in those kinds of terms. Think about Fortnite, right? Fortnite has their own currency. You have to convert dollars, into gift cards or whatever to get access to it, or you can use credit cards online on Xbox Live or whatever. And then you can use those to buy skins or dances or different weapons or whatever. Okay. Believe me, it happens in my house, so I see it. I know what my kids are doing. So on its surface, to say that it's not happening, it is already happening. Okay. I think that this is a full stop. Like the digital world of spending has existed for a long time, and it's going to continue to exist. This isn't to say there aren't bad ideas and aren't stupid things that have failed. There are, but it exists. Let's not be obtuse about this for a second, okay? But the difference is when someone buys something on Facebook, it's, maybe they want to buy another skin. It's limited, right? You buy some on Roblox. The games are very different. Some of them are very simple games where maybe you're just paying for an upgrade or a new whatever the heck thing you need for the game. The thing with the metaverse that becomes very different is now you're gaining an understanding at a software level, right? At a digital level, not just of the things that they're interested in, not just of the things that they're buying, but furthermore, how they interact with those things after they buy them. Think about the value of that data to understand that a company that makes, and I know it sounds silly, by the way, I even find myself thinking, is this a serious thing? Say I sell digital clothes in the metaverse. I have no other way of calling it that. I sell this shirt in the metaverse. I can now track how often you wear this shirt. Do you change on a regular basis? Are there other styles of shirts you like that I can now advertise to you? This goes so far beyond buying habits. This is behavioral habits. This is how you interact with the things that you buy, where you place them, how you show them off, how you get other people to become interested in it. Are you a digital influencer at a second degree level? So this is, from an ads perspective, not only understanding what my buying habits are, but what I'm likely to buy, how often I'm likely to use that item, how and where I will show that item off, store it, or otherwise deal with it. This includes everything that you can imagine. And in talking about the metaverse, it's important to understand that we're not limited to like clothing, a couch in your house or something. It truly could be anything, right? It could be rocket ships or buying aliens or space on a pretend moon. It could be anything, okay? So I started thinking about this really at a deep level and was trying to understand the value is that the money we're spending is no different. It's just being used in a more trackable way. And again, I'm calling it out. You might think this is the worst thing ever. Totally cool. I get it. But if you're into analytics at depth and you understand things like in the software world, we look at license utilization rates, right? We can understand at scale how often people are logging in, what the true login percentages are, how often they're active once logged in, what they look at and how they work through it. It doesn't mean anyone ever sees the data, by the way, to call this out, but it's habits, it's behaviors, it's ability to build trends. And again, I want to repeat this in case you're missing it. This isn't about me buying a shirt on a website online, and then 2 days later, I get advertisements when I do a search for a similar colored shirt or the same brand of a different, long sleeves instead of short sleeves. This is the ability to understand at scale, not only that you bought a blue collared short sleeve shirt, but you wore it 3 times in the past 2 weeks. And, you wore it in front of these people and those people commented that they liked the shirt. This is a level of depth of data that has not been in the realm of retail and advertising probably ever. And frankly, probably will not be ever again for a while, I think. This is about understanding the opportunity that Facebook has and why they've risked it all to do what a lot of people think seems silly. I'm actually getting so excited talking about this right now. And again, I don't know if this ever gets back to a stock valuation. So that's why I don't recommend anything with it. In fact, I haven't really done a lot of research on Meta stock, to be totally fair. But this is the level of 10x, 100x thinking. It's not just creating a new world. It's creating advertising in the world based on trends and habits you can only understand in the world. So I'll give you a perfect example of how this works in software and where the challenge is and how Facebook just literally disrupted it. In the world of software or even advertising space today, I pay to advertise my shirt on Facebook. You see it and you buy it. The relationship ends. For me, it was a success, a huge success. My advertising got me a sale of a shirt. In the software world, oftentimes we work with partners. For those who follow other videos I've done, we talk about Palantir, other companies like that. They're building out partner networks who are then going to implement and potentially sell their products. Oftentimes the problem is they will have a line of sight into what the projects are and the general costs of their partners. Those partners, though, many times, not all the time, but many times will also have their own private conversations, or in private meetings. So you may not know everything that's going on at your customer's customer, right? The partner being your tier 1 customer, the actual customer is tier 2 in this case. This is like having not only a direct line of sight into what those conversations are, but the extensible things that are happening off of it as well. So look, I actually could talk about this all day. And in fact, if anyone wants to, I'm happy to jump on and really go deep on this. And if you think I'm wrong or there's a rebuttal to this, I'm happy to completely shift if I'm incorrect or missing a data point. But I just can't think of a better time ever where you can have a physical tracking of what I'm doing in an environment where my money is the same as it is in the real world. My spending patterns can be looked at are the same way, but you can get so much derivative value in understanding how to position and market it. Like, even the locations of it, or the way you interact with it, the way you impress people, or maybe how you gamify it, right? If you have 10 blue shirts, you wear them 10 online digital days in a row, you get a free pizza in real life. I don't know, right? Whatever. But I think that the world of advertising and marketing needs to change. And I think that this is one of those fundamental shifts that might change the way we think about everything. And then the crossover to the real world as well, I think potentially is huge here too. So I really would appreciate you letting me know what you think. I know I come up with these ideas sometimes, but I think this is something that could have some legs on it and could be huge. So let me know what you think. If you think I'm wrong and you want to discuss it or debate it, I'd love to do so. And with that, hey, have a good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for watching and always appreciate your time. Thank you.